Hello again, thanks for your company. We've got another bonanza show for you this week. We're coming to you from Jubilee Reserve, the heart, the soul and the home of Bassendean Caledonians. They're one of WA's oldest clubs and are celebrating a special milestone this year. More about that a little later on the show. Goals galore between Stirling and Sorrento, that's our match of the week. And Twitter, what is it, how does it work, and why is it good for football and WA footballers? That and much more coming up on Australia's best online football show. But first, he's a self-confessed journeyman who made his mark in English football more than 20 years ago. Now, Andy Peterson is trying to help one of WA's proudest clubs re-establish itself as a dominant force.
Just been appointed Technical Director here at ECU Joondalup. I'm looking forward to working in this role and hopefully progressing Joondalup to a much more professional and successful setup.
Well done, last one, come on.
I've been on the coaching side, 2 or 3 years. You go from being a player to a coach and you sort of have to separate yourself a little bit. I'm no longer a player, I'm not one of the lads as such. I've got to sort of step onto the other side, but now I'm starting to enjoy it and starting to embrace the side of coaching and hope to progress with that. The future looks bright at ECU. We've got players overseas at the moment on trials, players overseas at the moment looking to sign contracts. We are a successful club at producing these players and I can't see it ending anytime soon. I started off playing in goal as a 6-year-old down at East Fremantle Tricolory back in the good old days. I was lucky enough to have some good coaching down there. John O'Connell and Dave Roxby down there who were instrumental in sort of giving me specialised training. I was lucky enough to get into the state teams, and then from there I got picked up by the AIS, went over there for a year, which gave me a bit of background in being a professional footballer. Sort of right off to the UK for trials. Back in those days Australians weren't really the popular sort of player that they are in the UK now. Luton were really the only club that offered me a trial. Went over there and I was lucky enough to get a contract within 2 weeks. And this is back in the day where Luton were actually quite a big club. They were in the first division as it was known then. The year before I went there, they'd won the League Cup against Arsenal. Definitely a shock to the system for me because I was going over there thinking, I'll pick up, a lower league club. But I was lucky enough to get a contract there and lucky enough to stay there for 6 years. Inaugural year of the Premiership. I was on loan at Ipswich at the time. It was the last game of the season. The first team keeper was ill that day, so I managed to get myself a start. For me, it was a significant day. Obviously, a Premiership debut in the first year, which was great. I was about 22, 23 at the time. And also it was against Nottingham Forest and it was Brian Clough's last game in charge there, so it was quite an emotional day. Played against some big players, Roy Keane was in the Nottingham Forest side that year. I think he went to Man United the next year. It was a great day and it's an honour to actually, be the groundbreaking sort of player to get through and play into the Premiership first. Football's not just about how good a player you are. You've got the mental side of it all, the professional side of it all. If you're humble enough over there and you work hard, you can make it.
Healthway and Football West have teamed up to find the Smarter Than Smoking Junior Player of the Month. Whether you're the star of your team or you just love to have fun with football, you can be in the running to win an Apple iPad. Each week, I'll be asking a simple question and the answer will be revealed later in the show. Check out footballwest.com.au for details and tune into our new Football 360 Junior Show to see if you've won our fantastic prize. This week's Smarter Than Smoking Junior Player of the Month question is: what is the most important element of a football team? To be in the running for an Apple iPad, check out footballwest.com.au and stay tuned to Football 360.
Time now to check in on the match of the week highlights between 1st and 3rd Stirling hosting Sorrento at Macedonia Park. Round 19 and Macedonia Park is turning into Stirling's own house of pains. From the kick-off, Sorrento's spot on the table was under threat. Goals keeper Curtis Aspen stretching to stop a near-own goal. Minutes later, Sorrento hit back, but Alex Verteski had it covered. Then in the 22nd minute, a superb effort steered this corner onto goal, striking the upright. Aston saved off the rebound but slipped as he threw the ball into play. Andy Todd was knocked down in the box and referee Matthew Cheeseman was left with no option but to point to the penalty spot. Rory Grant stepped up and tucked the ball into the back of the net. Stirling ahead after a clumsy challenge on veteran Todd. Stirling could have had another. Aston saved from point-blank range. But the Lions went ahead further before half-time. Some good, smart play created gaps in the goals defence, Grant again getting on the end of the ball. Sorrento's backline unable to sustain the Lions' pacey attack. In the second 45, Stirling showed what simple football can create. This through ball found Daniel Machevsky in space, who slammed the ball into the back of the net. It was Machevsky's second in as many weeks, the goal sneak firing at the right time of the season. Sorrento were floundering and were trying their luck from anywhere. While the Lions were causing trouble yet again, a clever knock-on to Phil Arnold found himself one-on-one with the keeper. Arnold did everything right except slot the ball home. Sorrento got one back. Todd Hanwell sent the ball into the path of Anthony Scorich, the substitute doing the rest. Scorich getting up well to float the ball past Vitescu. Despite Sorrento's fight back, the Lions roared ahead. Arnold latched onto this cross from the left, making amends for his earlier miss. The goals caught out on a quick counter, giving Arnold plenty of time to race in and finish. As the dark clouds hovered, Stirling could have made it 5. Aspen yet again to the rescue. Stirling going from strength to strength with 3 games remaining.
It's consistency that we've got to produce, and I think we've been doing it for most of the season. I think we've been entertaining to watch most of the time as well.
In other results, Perth broke Bunbury's 4-game unbeaten run. Joondalup earned 3 points with a 2-0 win over Armidale. Balcatta gave Floreat a massive wake-up call. Coburn bounced back with a 4-1 win over United. Port Lloyd scoring twice. And joint leaders Bayswater steamed home with a 5-0 thumping over NTC. To the ladder now, and it's still neck and neck at the top between City and the Lions. Bayswater on top due to goal difference, but Stirling still have a game in hand. Coburn jumped to 3rd spot after Sorrento's loss to Stirling. United still ahead of Floreat on goals, but that could all change next week when United host Bunbury at home. Inglewood must win and be hoping Athena stumbles against Armidale at Alfred Skeet Reserve. Perth host Stirling. Bayswater travel to Balcatta. That could be a tricky encounter for City, and Coburn entertain the NTC. Every game vital from here on in the race to the finals. As always, highlights and results right here on Football 360, Australia's best online football show. A milestone, as I called it at the start of our program later this year. When is it and why is it being held?
It's the 23rd of November, it's at the Mercure Hotel. It's pretty much just a celebration of 100 years of Basildine Caledonian Soccer Club history. There's quite a few people that's gone through the club doors that I'm quite sure will be pleased to meet and re-greet. I think it's important in any sporting facility that you should celebrate some of your history, especially 100 years. 100 years doesn't come around for everybody. Certainly doesn't come around for a lot of people in relation to most other sporting clubs. Who gets to do that? Who gets to celebrate that? We certainly are this year, which is good. I don't know how many other clubs get to do that, soccer, football or otherwise.
How many people are you expecting to come?
It is booked for 230 people. Could have possibly been more, but when you have a live band playing, that limits your venues. The quicker you get the ticket, the more chance you are of getting in that front door there.
In 100 years, what do you think encapsulates the spirit of Basildine Caledonians?
Most people already know the history in relation to the Anzacs that left Basildine Caledonians and went to war. I think the spirit of that still maintains through the club doors today. There is a lot of people involved in the local community and the soccer fraternity that have come through Callie's doors, played, trained, coached or otherwise, and still have fond memories of being here, which is good.
Twitter is all about a real-time platform for fans to engage with sporting clubs, athletes, sponsors, to get information, to engage one-on-one with an athlete or a club or a league, to share their experiences, their passion for the sport, and to receive that back from their club. So we feel like it's this amazing real-time network that you can get this engagement with fans one-on-one and create a sense of community as well in that space. We'd encourage fans to really follow their clubs, search for their clubs out and their favourite athletes, and not just the clubs that you support, but you can also get some great content from some of the rival clubs as well. And then you can start having some banter with them as well. Don't be scared to have a crack at some of your rival clubs when you're playing against them. So we really love what Tim Cahill's doing. He's one of the best athletes we think in Australia and around the world. We love that he talks about his life as a footballer and he's educating fans and talking about what it is to be a professional athlete. But not only that, he talks about what happens outside of his life of football. He talks about other sports, he interacts with other athletes, and we think that's great only on Twitter moments. But also, if you're not a Tim Cahill fan or you don't follow the team he supports, he's still providing something for you to actually engage with and learn about to be a professional athlete. Football clubs should be using Twitter to make sure they start building relationships with their fans. Providing real-time insights into what's happening for their fans is really important, because we think engaged fans are the best ones that you can get, because they'll come to your games, they'll talk about your games and your brands on Twitter as well, which is really important. It's that sort of social network where, if you talk about it, someone else then talks about it, they see that, and then they start engaging, you start building this community, which we think is really important. And local football clubs have this amazing community that we should be able to reach and really develop online.
If you missed our new and exciting junior show Shoot, then tune in to Football West TV. We've got some good tips for every footballer, even some adults could probably learn a trick or two. Just before we go tonight, over the past 10 years, the Glory Cup has mentored many young football players to become local, national and international stars of today. Last week, the 10th anniversary of the School Sport WA Football West Primary Football Championships at Coburn's Bill Park saw hundreds of budding footballers take to the field. And congratulations to CBC Fremantle on winning the 2013 event. And don't forget to catch all the action in the Quarter Arms Charity Cup between WA and Perth Glory. The match is aimed at fighting cancer. Kickoff is next Wednesday, the 21st of August. For more details, log on to footballwest.com.au. And that wraps up yet another episode of Football 360 for this week. A quick reminder to get down to Leiters Stadium for the Coolridge Cup final between Bayswater and Ashfield. That's Saturday, August 24. More details on Football 360 next week. Thanks for your company once again. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we hope to see you out and about on the grounds this weekend. Until next week, it's bye for now.